Hi everybody. The purpose of this video is to give you a quick walkthrough through the Hawks learning system. And the first thing we need to do is access the learning system. And there are two ways to do that. One is through Canvas, and the second way is typing in the URL into the address line of your favorite browser. But let's focus on the first way. Now, if you're in section 3, the course through Canvas will look like this. And all you need to do is click on that. You'll see a button that says Go to Hawks. And if you click on that, that will bring you to the sign-in page. And every other section looks the same. This is the course button for section 4. Click on that, and you have the exact same thing. And section 5, again, has the exact same thing. Click, and there it is. Now, it turns out that I have registered myself as a student in section 4. So I'm going to go to section 4. I'm going to go ahead and click Student View. That way I will see what you guys will see. And I want to click Go to Hawks. And that brings up a new tab with this address right here. And this is the address that you can use if you just want to go in directly through the web page and avoiding Canvas altogether. Just click in learn.hawkslearning.com, press enter, and you are in. Or at least you're into the sign-in page. So let's just go back to this sign-in page, and once you're here, enter in your email. Here I used my nonprofit's email and your password, and now I am in. And let's take a look at what we have here. Here we have our course. Here it is, Introductory Intermediate Algebra. There's a button here called View Course, which gives you basically your to-do list. And notice I have a practice test and a quiz due today. And within 1 week, I have a real number line assignment, an introduction to absolute values assignment, and an addition with real numbers assignment that is due within 1 week. Well, actually, they are due tomorrow. Most importantly, they are due before the beginning of class tomorrow. So if you are in section 4, your class meets at noon. These things would have to be done by noon tomorrow. Realistically, you don't have to do these. I just essentially set these up so that I could actually do this video. What else do we have here? I can go back to my original page. Here it is. I can print out the stuff that I need. And this is my dashboard. I can check out my grades. Right now, I'm batting 100. Awesome. I'm on my way to getting an A. Pretty much because I haven't done anything yet. I also can take a look at my ebook, which is right here, along with the appropriate chapters. And I think we're going to look at chapter 1.1, the real number, the real line, and absolute value. So you have access to that in a completely different tab. And I can come back here to where I was. And I also have a discussion board, which we may or may not use this semester. Okay, well, let's get back to our dashboard. And we have assignments, some assignments to do. And let's take a look at assignment 1B, Introduction to Absolute Values. That is due tomorrow. And notice that I have 3 modes. These are the modes that we talked about that are discussed in the syllabus. The first one is the Learn mode. And in the Learn mode, we can watch videos about absolute values. We can go through these notes that they have on absolute values. And we can also watch some example videos where they actually work a couple of problems. Now, is it necessary for you guys to go through the Learn part? Well, no, because we will discuss these in class. However, this would be good supplemental material if you have questions and need some clarification. Once you're done with Learn, you can go ahead and hit Exit Learn. The second mode is Practice. You also are not required to practice, although I highly recommend it. It's probably better to go through one practice set because that makes certifying, which is actually where you complete your assignment. And once your assignment is completed, you are done with it and you've pretty much aced it, as long as you complete it before the due date. Okay, now in practice, we can practice, or what we call pre-certify. And here we will practice with a number of problems. Going into it, we notice that we actually have to do 15 questions as part of practice. And this is our first problem. And this one says, consider the following absolute value expression. Negative, the absolute value of negative 11, minus, or blank, minus negative the absolute value of 13. The first question is simplify the absolute value on the left of the given expression. And here we have negative 11. The absolute value of negative 11 is 11. And then we're going to take the negative of that, so the answer should be negative 11. By George, I was right. Go figure. So that's part one. Part two is determine if the value on the left is less than, greater than, or equal to the value on the right. Well, this is negative 11. This is negative 13 because the absolute value of negative 13 is 13. You take the negative of that, you have negative 13. So we have that, and we know that negative 13 is less than negative 11. We also, or negative 11 is greater than negative 13. And we also know that the arrow always points to the smaller number. In this case, happens to be negative 13. So we can click on that. And boom, I actually got it right 2 times in a row. Go me, I am on a roll. So just bear with me as I go through the remaining problems. Now, before I blast through the rest of these, let's suppose that I make a mistake. For example, I decided that 9 is less than the absolute value of negative 4. What's going to happen? Oh, well, I'm wrong. The first thing you can do is you can actually have your error explained to you. And they will tell you that from the first part of the problem, we know that the absolute value of 9 is 9, and the absolute value of negative 4 is 4. And then I select the less than. However, 9 is not less than 4. I might want to review the definition of absolute value, and I can click on that, and it will give me a quick definition. So that's a pretty powerful thing. In case these are some pretty powerful tools to use while you are practicing, because you will not have these tools when you are certifying. All right, so they've explained the error. I understand the error in my ways. And so now I can come back and I can try it again. And now I am correct. Now bear with me as I rifle through the rest of these problems. Now, when entering fractions, there are two ways to do this. One is you can use your keypad and you can hit the fraction button. The other way is you can hit your slash button, and that will also bring up the fraction. And then once you're done, you can just type in 1 on the top, cursor down, hit 8. And if you are going to do a negative fraction, you have to remember that the negative sign must always be in the numerator. And I have now completed my first practice. I got all 21 correct after having to iterate on 1 or 2 of them. It took me a total of 8 minutes, and so I have some data here. If I want, I can practice again, or I can continue on to certify, which is what I want to do. So here we are. This is certified. Now what we want to do is we can click anywhere here, or we can go ahead and click start. And when we do, we are going to start certification. And let's take a look at our certification interface here. We have 15 questions. Many have multiple parts, which is why this goes all the way up to 21. And notice that I have a 5 here. I am allowed 5 strikes. I can get 5 problems wrong, and I can still certify. If I get 6 problems wrong, I have to do it over again. So as long as you can get 16 out of 21 points here, then you will have successfully completed the assignment, and you will get a 100 on the assignment, provided that you complete the assignment before it is due, which will be before the beginning of the next class. So let's go ahead and let's make this happen. Okay, so I'll walk through the first problem, and I'm going to make a mistake. I'm going to write down 6. That is wrong, but I don't care. And I'm going to submit my answer. It is wrong. Now, notice that I don't get any hints. It just says I'm wrong. The hints come during practice. Now, I can either try a similar question or I can accept the strike. I'm going to try a similar question. And you can try the similar questions as often as you would like. However, if you're doing it 3 or 4 times, you might want to go back and practice, or you might want to come see me. Okay, so how do we do the absolute value of -7 in this window? Oh, I'm going to do it wrong again. I'm going to put down -7. That is not correct. It should be +7. And I am wrong again. So I can either try a similar question, I can do this forever, or I can accept my strike. And this time, I'm going to accept my strike. Okay, the answer is incorrect. I can either display the solution, which will tell me how I should have done it correctly, and return to certify. And notice here, now my 5 went down to 4. I only have 4 lives left. And I can move on to the second part of this problem. And here is 7. Here the absolute value of -7 is 7, and this is going to be -13. The question is the absolute value 7 less than the negative of the absolute value of 13? Is 7 less than -13, greater than -13, or equal to -13? Well, I'm going to, like, once again, we all know that it should be greater than, but I'm going to put down less than. And I'm going to submit my answer. It's wrong again. I'm going to accept my strike. I'm going to display the answer, and notice my hearts are down to 3. So I only have 3 strikes left. So hopefully I won't make any more mistakes, but you know, there are no promises, because screwing up, it's what I do, and I do it very well. Okay, so the absolute value 4, or the negative of the absolute value 4, well, that's just -4. Whew, finally, got one right. Awesome. And then it turns out that -4 is indeed less than 7, so I'm going to click that, and away we go. So bear with me while I finish the rest of these. Also, you do not have to hit OK. You can also just go ahead and hit Enter once you put in the answer that you think is correct. Once you have correctly answered enough questions to certify, this comes up, which means that you've mastered the lesson. You can continue on if you want, or you can just go ahead and exit and certify. So let's just go ahead and exit, and here we are. Notice that we have this right here contains the data. We've got actually 16 correct. We had 3 strikes left. We could have gotten 3 more wrong answers. We got 16 out of 18 answers correct because we got the first one wrong and we did not have to do the last one. And this is how much it took. It took me 18 seconds per question. I was on a roll. If you want to take it again, you can. Now, let's go over here and take a look at our grades. Okay, now notice that we have 45 out of 45 because we aced this one and it has a weight of 45. And cool, we are done. And we have 1 out of 33 certifications completed. Notice here that I have these notifications. I can click on that. It reminds me that I have 2 items due today. It also reminds me that I still have 2 items due tomorrow. And we can go back to our dashboard and notice that that is now off of here. We still have these assignments to do, and please keep in mind they're not real assignments. They're just things I set up so I could actually do this video. That is, very briefly, how Hawks works. Again, we have 3 components: learn, practice, and certify. We'll do most of our learning in class, but this is still available for you to use. I recommend that you practice at least once, and once you practice it, go ahead and knock out the certification. For most of our course, mastery will be set at approximately 80%, which means you need to get 80% of the questions correct to actually master that particular lesson. And that is all I have for this particular video. I hope you find it useful. And if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me, either office hours or through email or via text. I'll be happy to work with you in any way that I can. And this is Bob Oil, signing off.